It's important that Opera North offers new composers opportunities like this because it's probably quite rare for a composer who's just written a piece to have it heard by a live orchestra. I mean, a lot of them write on computer programs, Sibelius or Finale, and all they get back is the sort of electric computer sound of their piece, but there's nothing quite like hearing it in the room, and it must be immensely helpful for them to hear what they've done.
I thought the Dare Composer Forum seemed like a really great opportunity because, you know, it's not every day you get to hear your music played by an orchestra, and on top of that, a really great professional orchestra. It's kind of, on a creative level, it's a great opportunity to hear your music and to get a sense of whether the things that you think are going to work actually work in practice, and also to hear the work of your contemporaries, of your colleagues, and see the things that they do that you would never really have thought of. But on top of that, it's also kind of an amazing chance to meet players and to meet other composers and people working with the orchestra and with the company so that you can kind of create a network.
The workshop was quite hard for me because I've got quite a difficult piece to workshop, and I had to do a lot of going around the different parts and talking to the musicians about how to play their parts. But it was very good, and there was very surprising moments, particularly the trombonist, for example, came up with a way of playing something that I hadn't thought of and that really worked. And there's some very, very kind and very helpful people, and there are a lot of people very up for playing what I was trying to do.
The workshop this morning was very interesting. We had one piece which was written in a traditional way, so as a violinist I'm required to play the right notes, play the dynamics, play the right rhythms, just like playing a Beethoven symphony. Another piece was a bit more wacky. We were required to play on the bridge of the violin. We were asked to play with the bow on the body of the violin, which I actually said we wouldn't do because it can damage what are very expensive violins. So there were a lot of techniques which were new to us, very fussy.
There's a benefit to the orchestra as well as to the composers in this workshop because it keeps us in touch with new music and what's going on. We play a lot of music that we've played many, many times, especially as an opera orchestra, and it's good to try out new techniques, and it stretches us, which is always good, and just keeps us in touch with what's going on in the here and now with composition.
I wanted to come and see the DARE Forum today because it's a great experience for someone studying composition and who is hopefully going to produce works in the future and have them workshop like this. It's an invaluable experience for us to have this opportunity to see young composers bring their pieces and their finished scores to such a great orchestra like Opera North's orchestra.
I prepared for today's forum by reading through the scores of the works that we were going to hear rehearsed. It was really interesting to see how all of the composers' ideas relate through the rehearsal process, and trying to pick up on potential challenges that the orchestra might face, and we as student composers might encounter in a real working environment.
Any opportunity to hear your pieces played is going to help you learn as a composer, whether you're an experienced composer or someone quite new to composing. There's nothing that can substitute for live musicians interpreting your work, responding to the instructions that you've given them, and helping you to develop your craft.
It's a really seriously good career opportunity, I think, on top of everything else, as well as the creative aspect, because you get a chance to see what players enjoy doing. And when you have an enormous orchestra in a rehearsal situation, when they're just trying to get through things as fast as they can, you don't get much chance to find out what people actually enjoy. So the idea of getting feedback forms from the orchestra is really great, because I'll get to see what they liked and what they didn't like, what annoyed them, what they enjoyed, I suppose, and then I can build on that for the future.